Wubba lubba dub dub. Welcome back to Stardom Sim, where we're going to be talking tight ends today. The hardest position to project. I mean, last week it was a bunch of guys that you didn't expect to score points. Yeah, it's a tough thing to project, but that's why I'm here to help out with the tough decisions. But before we get into that, what's crack-a-lack? It's your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know, so go ahead, leave a thumbs up if you enjoy the content and subscribe. Become a bro and subscribe. I got that hot 2020 NFL mock draft. It's a 7-round mock draft, 256 picks. Check it out, it's on the channel. But let's go ahead, let's get into it. We're talking Thursday, we're talking Washington versus Minnesota. Vernon Davis, he's still questionable. I don't think he's startable. And Sprinkle, yeah, he's not startable either. What a name though, Sprinkle. I say though, for the Vikings, you might want to start Kyle Rudolph, especially with Thielen out this week. I think he's good to start this week, but when Thielen's back, he's back to riding the pine for your fantasy football team. But he does have that red zone threat. And this one's up to you. If you're in deeper leagues, Irv Smith Jr. might not be a bad start. Now let's talk about Seattle versus Atlanta. You're going to start Austin Hooper. He is the #1 tight end in fantasy football. You start him. And this is my sneaky start of the week. I got my boy Jacob Hollister. That's right, he's the tight end for Seattle. Or at least seems like he's the tight end for Seattle. Now, Atlanta, they're 23rd against opposing tight ends. He saw 6 targets last week against Baltimore. I'm not saying there's something there, but I think there's something there. I think he might be worth a start this week. So, you're in a tough bind? Hollister. Sounds like a clothing company. Anyway, Philadelphia versus Buffalo. You're going to start Ertz just because he's Zach Ertz. I know it's a tough matchup. Buffalo's second against opposing tight ends. With the emergence of Goder. Man, I got to learn how to say your last name. He deserves that at the very least. I'll be back. Goddard. Dallas Goedert. Finally said, you're sitting Goddard this week. I know he's been more involved in the offense, but like I said, it's a tough matchup, and I would go Ertz over Goddard. You're going to sit Dawson, man. You're going to sit my boy Dawson Knox, man, for Buffalo. It's a tough matchup, and Tyler Kroft might be back this week, or he might be getting more snaps. It's just, there's better starts out there. I don't trust it. Let's talk about the Chargers versus the Bears. Tip. You're going to sit everyone for the Bears. I don't trust Burton. I don't trust Shaheen. Start Hunter Henry, man. The Bears are 20th against opposing tight ends. He's seen 17 targets the last 2 games. He's been a hot start. He's on a hot streak. Now we're going to be talking about the Giants versus the Lions. Evan Ingram, I know he should have performed way better last week. Who would have thought, though, we had the wrong tight end? Yeah, it was a weird week last week, but I think he turns it back around. There, you got to start him this week. They're facing the 19th worst defense when it comes to opposing tight ends. Go for it. And as far as Ellison, they just said him. I think last week was just a strange week altogether. And then Detroit, you're going to sit TJ Hawkinson. I know he's got a huge touchdown upside, but he's dropped like 3 touchdowns this year, so I'm just not interested. Now we got the Buccaneers versus the Titans. It's important for the Titans monitor Delaney Walker's status this game. He may have re-aggravated that, I think it was an ankle injury in last week's game. So see if he is if he's healthy. But if he's not, Jonnu Smith, he's a good start this week. I mean, Tampa Bay, they're 31st against opposing tight ends, so I say go for it. Whoever is the starting tight end that week or for that game, go for it. As far as OJ Howard and Cameron Brate, I don't care. It's a great matchup, but just sit him. It's just safe. I know Howard, he's among like the top 7 of most routes ran by tight ends, and what has he accomplished in that? Not a lot. Actually, very little. So, Denver, right? Denver versus the Colts. You're going to be sitting everyone in this game. I don't like Noah Fant, man. Well, I don't know what it is. You might as well drop him. He can't catch the ball. He had like 5 targets last week, and like 2 or 3 of them were drop passes. It's ridiculous. As far as Eric Ebron and Jack Doyle, oh man, they're facing Denver. They're ninth against opposing tight ends. They honestly, they have the same target count. It's just a matter if they hit or not, you know. But Ebron, he has the touchdown upside. If you do have to start someone, Eric Ebron, but I would sit both. Cincinnati versus the Rams. Who do we start for Cincinnati? No one. They're irrelevant. And for the Rams, I would start, this is a bit of a risky play, but I would start Gerald Everett. The Bengals, for some weird reason, they're 6th against opposing tight ends, but he's been very involved in the offense. I know he's been on a bit of a hot streak if you don't include, not last game, but the game before that. But I think he's not a terrible start. As far as Arizona versus the Saints, tight ends don't exist in Arizona except for that 1 week that Max Williams scored a touchdown. Doesn't happen. But the Saints, whoever is healthy, if Jared Cook is healthy, you start him. If Josh Hill is going to be the one starting there, you start him. It's just how it is against the Cardinals. And we got the Jets versus the Jaguars. You're going to sit Ryan Griffin or Chris Herndon, whoever it is. Jaguars, they're 11th against opposing tight ends, so pretty good. And honestly, if it is Chris Herndon, he's coming back from injury. As far as I saw, I don't think he was a full participant in practice today. So I'm just saying I'd rather caution towards the safe side. And then for Jacksonville, I mean, there's no O'Shaughnessy, no start here. I don't think tight ends exist anymore there in Jacksonville. Carolina versus San Fran. Let's make this quick. You're going to start George Kittle. It's George Kittle. And then I say start Greg Olsen. He has seen 7 targets or more in every game but one this year. So he brings volume. It's hard to find that at the tight end position. I know, tough matchup, but you know he'll at least get opportunity. Cleveland versus the Patriots. Ben Watson's interesting here. Not interesting enough to start, but I don't think he's a bad guy to, pick up and put on the bench. I'm just saying that. And then you're gonna sit Cleveland's tight end, Seals Jones. Nah, you burned me, dude. You burned me. I was like, what? This guy, maybe is he startable? Apparently not. I mean, and the Patriots are first against opposing tight ends, so it's not a great matchup. It's actually, you could call it the worst matchup. And then Oakland versus the Raiders. Yo, sit Fells. I tried to get on the Darren Fells bandwagon last week. No bueno. Sit Atkins as while you're at it if you have him. I don't know why you would. And then Waller, dude, he is a start. I know, tough matchup, but he is Derek Carr's favorite target. Foster Moreau is he's touchdown dependent. So it's not like he's going to put up big games for you. So I would sit him, me personally. And then let's talk the Sunday night game, Green Bay versus Kansas City. It's a good matchup for Jimmy Graham. I mean, they're 18th against opposing tight ends, Kansas City, that is. So it's a so-so start. I'm not confident about it, but if Devontae Adams doesn't suit up, that makes me feel better about the start. I'll just say that. And then you're going to start Travis Kelce. You drafted him to start him. You probably drafted him really high too. Packers are 25th against opposing tight ends. And honestly, he should be Matt Moore's best friend. Sunday night game. We're ending on a hot one. We got the Dolphins versus the Steelers. You're gonna sit Vance McDonald. I know, pretty good matchup, but the Dolphins are 15th against opposing tight ends, so they're not bad. And it should be a run-heavy script. And then for Miami, you're gonna sit Gesicki. Quite frankly, I'm sick of Gesicki. It's a great matchup, though. Steelers are 30th against opposing tight ends, so no, don't do it. Don't do it. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube stuff. It's much appreciated, much obliged. And until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.